Welcome back to my channel. My name is Darlene. Today's video is all about the comfort foods we all love, but I've made them low carb and good fat. When I think of meatloaf, I think of my mom and my grandma. They made wonderful meatloaf and they made it often. I think many of us can agree that meatloaf is a staple in our kitchens. Now I've made some changes to ensure we don't have too many carbs. There are no breads, no crackers in this recipe, but it turns out moist and full, packed full of flavor. Your family will not even know you've tweaked it. I begin with 1 pound of ground pork and 1 pound of ground beef. I add a bit of good salt, some garlic powder, and some onion powder. I generally do not add fresh onion to these because they are a little higher in carbs, so I just avoid that. I also love the flavor of pesto, so I use it a lot. The Aldi brand is my favorite. Sometimes it can get a little oily on top, so I just take a spoon and give it a good stir and it's good as new. Some Worcestershire sauce, of course, that goes so good with both beef and pork. A splash of beef stock to add moisture, and a little bit of shredded mozzarella cheese. Also, that adds bulk and it adds more moisture. I add a couple of delicious farm fresh eggs, and then I add the binder, the filler, and I use a good amount of grated Parmesan cheese. I use this for not only for my meatloaf, but I also use it for my salmon cakes, which are coming, by the way, in the next video. And I am so excited to show you those. Lou absolutely just flipped out when I made those. So they really are good. But this Parmesan cheese acts as the filler. It's the bread or the carb replacement. It makes the meatloaf come together beautifully. Now go in with both hands and squish it up just till combined. You can overwork a meatloaf with your hands, so be careful to only mix till just combined. I never ever use a mixer to mix up my meatloaf. You might want to avoid that if you don't want a dry meatloaf. On this night, I decided to make this into 2 meatloaves so that one baked tonight and the other will be frozen for another night. I try not to use my hands too much after I mix it up. I spoon the meat into a loaf pan and I leave room like all around the sides, kind of like a moat, if you will. This leaves room for all the oils and the juices that will come from the meat's cooking. Shape it traditionally with the back of a large spoon. Now here's where I was always stumped as to what to put on the top of the loaf. I love ketchup, and that ketchup mustard combination with a little brown sugar is so traditional for the top of a meatloaf. But I can't have ketchup because of the sugar, and I certainly am not going to add any brown sugar to it. So let's bring out that wonderful sugar-free barbecue sauce. Yes, I have used the entire bottle now. And we loved every single bit of it. It's a very good sauce. However, when I put it on top of my meatloaf, I did forget to put the mustard with it. Now, mustard is what I consider a free condiment. There's no carbs or sugars in it, so go ahead and have fun with that. But I forgot to put it in here, but I will put it in the recipe below for you. So no worries there. You go ahead and add it if you like. I put it all over the top of both of these meatloafs. Go ahead and use the spoon and frost the top of your meatloafs with this delicious, delicious barbecue spread and mustard if you want to use that. It's very delicious. Put it in your oven at 350 degrees. Now the other meatloaf I'm going to prepare for the freezer. I just simply like to put a piece of parchment paper right over the top and then some good strong foil and wrap it up nice and tight. It won't be in the freezer for very long, but it's nice to know a dinner is ready for another night. Now halfway through the baking of the meatloaf in the oven, I like to take it out and just put like a little bit of a handful of shredded mozzarella cheese. It's delicious and it looks beautiful on top of the meatloaf when it comes out. Many of you have been asking, where the heck is our sauerkraut? Well, I totally ran out a couple weeks ago, so now we have it. Lou and I eat homemade sauerkraut every single day. It is so easy to make, and it truly is a superfood. It's packed with vitamin C and K. It provides a lot of our fiber. There's folate, potassium, and many antioxidants. It helps with digestion, immune function, and overall really good health. You only need about 2 to 4 tablespoons to receive the full probiotic benefits. I will leave below my complete sauerkraut tutorial for those of you who would like to give this a try and make your own delicious, healthy sauerkraut. It is so easy and so beneficial. All you need is some clean jars, some salt, and some cabbage. Some people like adding apples or even red cabbage as well. We keep the carbs and sugars down with just regular cabbage, and we love it. Let me show you how to make your own mayonnaise. You need a jar and an immersion blender. You really need an immersion blender. I'll show you my secrets to a rich, thick mayo. Now start with 1 egg, yolk kept intact, 1 cup of avocado oil, a pinch of salt, and a teaspoon or so of fresh lemon juice, or you can use vinegar. Put the blender stick on the bottom of the jar and keep it there directly over that egg. Blend steady till the oil becomes white and thick. Then gently move the blender stick up and down till all is combined. It really just takes a moment, and it is so delicious. If you'd like it to last a little bit longer, I add in sometimes 1 tablespoon of pickle juice or sauerkraut juice. In other words, a fermented juice of some kind will help your mayonnaise last a lot longer. So there's your homemade mayo done in seconds. Tonight I'm turning the mayo into a delicious creamy ranch dressing because we're going to have salad. I add 2 tablespoons of a dry ranch mix. Now you can make your own as well and give it a really good mix. Then to thin it out, I add about 2 tablespoons of half and half. You could also use milk if you have that. And mix it well, and you are ready to go. Now I'm cooking up some flavor-filled chicken breasts tonight. I seasoned them well with garlic and onion powder, some salt, and Italian seasonings. I'm cooking them in 1 teaspoon of butter and 1 teaspoon of bacon fat. I add a dollop of the Mayo Ranch to the tops of each chicken breast. And then I sprinkle just a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese right over the tops. These were so juicy and absolutely packed with flavor. Now, Lou and I really do enjoy salads, particularly in the warmer weather, but all year round, really. I wanted to beef up this salad on this night a little bit and have just a little bit more than just a head of lettuce and a little bit of cucumber. So I decided to cook up some bacon. Now, we love bacon and everybody loves bacon. And so I just take a full package of bacon and I cut it in thirds and I put it in this pan here, and it really cooks in its own juices. It cooks in its own lard as it's making lard. And then I just take it out and put it on a paper towel just like everybody does. But there is something about cooking it low and slow in its own juices. It makes, look how white and beautiful the lard is that comes out of my little lard jar here. And I just put on top of it any new bacon or new lard that I make. I just pour it right on top of the old, but I do put it through a little sieve just to make sure that no little pieces come out that I don't want in there. But it just makes it crystal clear. The lower you cook it, and it doesn't have that much of a bacony smell too, so if you want to use it for a pie crust, it works. It's just a great way to cook it this way. I'm also going to take some of my farm fresh eggs and put them in a pot and have them ready because I'm going to chop them up, as you'll see. And we are going to have a little bit of a salad bar tonight. I like to take all these different components and put them in separate containers, keep them in the refrigerator, and whenever we want a salad, they're nice. All the pieces are nice and fresh. You take them out. If somebody wants a little bit more bacon than eggs or a little extra eggs, I mean, it's all right here. You can see, and it's ready to go. And we are having steak tonight. Darlene, how do you care for your cast iron pan? How do you clean it? Well, this is what I do when my pan is screaming hot. I throw a little water in there. I take a stainless steel scraper and I scrape the bottom and I just let it sit while my meat is sitting and resting and while we eat, actually. And then afterwards, I'll show you how I clean it up. It's so easy. I think it's easier than any other pan. It is just something you probably would want to have in your kitchen if you don't have one already. Now look at this steak. It is just fabulous. It is cooked perfectly. There is nothing like a summertime delicious salad with a hot searing steak sliced right over the top. I'm going to take a little bit of salt and put them over my eggs. We have these delicious farm fresh chopped eggs that go right over the top of our salads. Our eyes were bigger than our stomachs on this night. I will tell you, we did not finish all the steak. We had it the next morning with some eggs and it was just as delicious. But yeah, it was so good. I just arranged our salad so beautifully. It's so nice when you have everything that you love in a salad right there at your hand. And you can just put a salad together as beautifully. This is a wonderful dish to have with company. Just put out a salad bar. It's nothing new, but it's something that I think sometimes we forget to do. So I'm adding some of that delicious hard-boiled egg that I cooked up, eggs and steak. Now that is just an all-time classic combination, whether they're scrambled eggs, over easy eggs, or like these diced up hard-boiled eggs. They're just plain good. Put on some bacon and then a little bit more of this wonderful shredded cheddar cheese and just go for it. Just put some of that wonderful dressing right over the top. Now you could stop right there and you would have a really fabulous salad. You'd pay a lot of money for that salad in any restaurant, but here we go. I mean, here's the money shot right here, right? That beautiful steak, just layer it right over the top. It is so beautiful, and boy, I have to tell you, we enjoyed that probably more than any meal during the week. It was just so good. And of course, I have to top it with a little bit of our sauerkraut. And it was just really a lovely meal. No, our grandchildren did not eat this meal. I had to make them a little something else. Steak is just not a kid's choice. They just don't know how good it is. I think it might just be a little hard for them to chew. I don't know. My steak isn't hard to chew, but you just never know. All right, I'm going to take the pan over to the sink and just get rid of all the gunk that's in there, all the juices and all the leftover stuff. And you can see how clean it is just by taking, hey, your best friend to your cast iron pan for keeping it clean is that stainless steel scraper. You have to have one. Now you can use soap and a sponge or a brush or something if you want, but you don't need to every single time. So tonight I'm just rinsing it out. Now it is wet. So what I do is just take it over to the pan, put the fire on for about 3 minutes, and before you know it, it's dry and ready to go again. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I had such a good time. Bye now, and Lord bless.